14-year-old girl named Jessica Grimard is found fully clothed with her throat cut in a small stream in suburban Montreal. The murderer is still at large, convinced that water has washed away the evidence of his crime. Locked away in a Quebec prison is one of the worst sexual predators in the country's history, a dangerous offender who has been sentenced to life. During a routine check, a security officer opens the mail sent to the prisoner. In an envelope addressed to that cell, he finds a pornographic photo of a very young girl. As a result of the photo, the agent requests special authorization to read all the mail that goes in and out of that inmate's cell. For 6 weeks, all the mail going in and out of the prisoner's cell is photocopied before being delivered. Jennifer Coulombe, an analyst with the Sexual Assault Unit, examines dozens of perverted letters. She tries to establish a chronology and connections between the depraved stories.
There was a lot of things that were written that weren't real. They never happened because the letters were written to entertain. My goal in this was to take the letters, see if it mentioned a crime, and see if I could link that crime to one that was reported to the police department.
The letters are always signed with the name Frank or Frankie.
But when there was a crime committed, he used another alias. He talked in the third person. So he would write stuff like Bob's Adventure. So all of a sudden, Frankie became Bob for the crime and then became Frankie again.
Among all the horrifying letters, she comes across an account of a sexual assault that gives the name of the victim. It's the only letter in which the victim is identified, a young woman in her 20s. Jennifer Coulombe recognizes the name and notifies her superiors. The lead investigator in charge of this case is Serge Richard with the Sexual Assault Unit in Montreal.
In July 2002, I was informed about a sexual assault charge, a young woman in Rivière-des-Prairies who had managed to escape from her attacker. She had told the police that she was waiting for a bus. It was raining. Someone came to the bus stop and started talking to her. They chatted, talked about the weather, and the person offered her a ride. He said, "I have a vehicle not too far from here." When they came to his vehicle, he opened the door politely, and she got in and sat down. He touched her breasts and thighs, and she managed to escape while he was trying to tie her up. She managed to bite him and open the door and run, leaving her belongings in the vehicle. We had a description of a pale-colored American vehicle. We had the height, weight, age, and physical description, but not enough to make a composite sketch.
Not only does the letter give Serge Richard the date and location of the attack, but it also has a return address on the envelope.
So that morning, I went to the commercial address. I started going through the area looking for a pale-colored American vehicle.
From the license plate, he traces the identity of the owner, Angelo Collaleo. Richard finds that Collaleo is a cell phone dealer with a long criminal record that includes several violent sexual assaults. The young woman is asked to come in and try to identify her attacker from a photo lineup.
positif. Elle reconnaît l'individu.
It was positive. She recognized the person we had identified from the license plate, which was Angelo Colaleo. She recognized him from the photo lineup. That was her attacker.
Serge Richard requests an arrest warrant and 9 search warrants. While he waits for authorization, he puts Colaleo under surveillance. He doesn't want him to slip away. Mario Arbor is given the task of following him. He knows that Colaleo has been incarcerated several times for rape and that he may be armed. Colaleo seems to be on edge.
We wanted to be sure we didn't lose him. We wanted to be sure that he would be arrested and that there would be no more victims.
On avait l'impression qu'il était à la recherche.
We had the impression he was looking for a victim. He went out a lot, spent the night driving around for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. If he wanted to rest, he would just park his car, put the seat back for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then be on his way.
We were like chained dogs, just waiting to get the go-ahead. But the ones holding the chains were the investigators.
Finally, the arrest warrant arrives. The police know he could be armed and dangerous. They proceed cautiously.
I remember it as if it was yesterday. When we moved in, spotted the individual and called him. That was it. We had him.
Colaleo is arrested for the sexual assault of the woman he picked up at the bus stop.
Calme, très calme. À un point tel que c'en était presque.
Calm. Very calm.
Parce que
So much so
c'est comme s'il y avait
that it was almost shocking. It was as if everything was fine. Everything was normal. It was quite remarkable. And even when he was handcuffed, there was no sign of nervousness, no tenseness. But he had a distant look. He looked lifeless.
The same day, the police search Colaleo's home.
Ce qui a été trouvé chez M. Colaleo et des
What was found at Mr. Colaleo's home was enough to convict him. Items from the sexual assault that had taken place in July and correspondence between the dangerous offender and himself. Letters he had received. There was also a computer on which we found letters he was writing. We found a bag he'd used for committing the crimes.
Investigators know that Colaleo attacked the young woman at the bus stop. But how many other crimes has he committed?
Je rencontre M. Colaleo.
I interrogated Mr. Colaleo for 5.5 hours.
5 heures, 5h30.
I tried to find out more about him, his personal life, his private life, and so on. We chatted, as if I was trying to make friends with someone, and he was quite open, as we talked about all kinds of things. He had been married, no children, normal childhood, nothing out of the ordinary. He'd taken some courses and was in the cellular telephone business. An average guy that you might meet at the mall or on the street.
Richard tells him about all their discoveries, all the searches, all the people they have questioned, and that he had been under surveillance.
We didn't tell him this all at once. We gave him a little additional information from time to time, and every time we alluded to the events, he always became very pensive. Always. When we started talking about the crimes, he got even more distracted. From time to time, he seemed completely lost in space. And I remember I would snap my fingers or say, Angelo such and such, and then he'd snap out of it. I felt as if, have you ever seen the movie Silence of the Lambs? It was one of the longest interrogations I've ever conducted in my career, and I felt as if I was with a guy like that. It would end with, I'll see you later, I can't talk about that, I'm too tired. It would be midnight or 1 in the morning, and he'd say, I'm exhausted, I haven't slept, you know, you were following me, I haven't had any sleep, I'm tired.
Colaleo refuses to cooperate, but he still feels the need to brag about his secret. While in custody, he describes his horrific deed to his cellmate. The man becomes an unexpected ally for the investigation.